everybody? We're back at the ParBar, and it's Friday happy hour.
Happy hour.
It's good.
Yes.
Actually, I started a little earlier, so I left work like around like 4.
Wow.
And then I got lunch because I didn't get to go to lunch
At
today.
4 o'clock?
At 4 o'clock. I went to
That's
lunch.
like dinner, bro.
I know. And I ate some shrimp tacos, and then I had a michelada.
Nice.
And the place I was at though didn't have AC.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it was horrible.
Where was that?
Huh?
Where
Downtown. I guess the AC broke earlier in the day.
Don't doubt it.
Yeah, so it was pretty bad. But
Nice.
man, it's been hot. Today was extremely hot.
Mm-hmm.
I was burning up. I hope you guys are probably still burning up. We got 2 fans behind me, so if you hear some wind, let us know so we can turn the fans down or at least angle them a little bit different.
Yeah, don't turn them off.
But as always, my name is Rich D, and joining me at the ParBar today, Mr. Vince T.
What's up, everybody?
Uncle Nono is now en route. I don't know if he's on the 54 west or east. But in his place, we got Mr. Mark Fuentes.
What's up?
And joining us at the ParBar, we have San Diego 350, as promised. From our flyers, we have Angela Deegan. That's it, right?
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having us back.
Of course. Jassiv, I don't know your last name.
Aronia.
How do you say it?
Aronia.
Aronia.
Yeah.
Okay. Jassiv and B.
Mittermiller. Try that one 10
Yeah.
times fast.
No, I'm good because I can barely talk English normally. But yeah, thank you guys for coming.
Early.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Thanks
Thank you guys for
having
coming. We're here to talk about climate change, and obviously it's sweltering hot.
Yeah.
So you know,
Well, cheers to hot weather and climate change, I
Yeah.
guess.
cheers.
Time
I don't
to
know if you're supposed to cheers to that.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Climate
man.
action.
Yeah, there you go. Climate
Well.
change action.
It's a good conversation starter.
There you go.
There you go. But yes, it has been hot here in San Diego. I don't know, was it like 90s? You guys think? 90s, high 90s, mid 90s?
It's been 90.
90?
90s, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know over in Alpine it's like 100 or something like that. But how have you guys been? Angela?
Good. Trying to keep from overheating, but I do have. At least I work all day, and I have in an office that's air conditioned, so
Yeah.
can't complain about that. But at home, yeah, it's pretty toasty. I don't
Yeah.
have AC at home, so
Oh, wow.
yeah.
we,
I have a whole house fan though, which is pretty good.
Oh, you do?
I run it at night, and yeah, I guess the trick is to run it pretty much all night. I used to
Yeah.
just run it for like 15 minutes at night, but a friend of mine who works in the home energy rating area, home energy rating, home energy rating system, he told me that the trick is to run it all night pretty much, so that you evacuate all the hot air from the house and
Right.
you pull in cool air.
Right.
But it only works, of course, if the temperature does in fact cool down at night.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
our
not the
house
case.
is burning up. I kind of do something similar. I have one fan that actually sits outside of our window, or
Yep.
outside of
Windowsill.
our sliding door, and I have like a stick in there, so it's just the cracks, like no one can get through there.
Right.
But then it's blowing the air from the outside in, and then I have another fan that's blowing out through the other window, so it's taking all the hot air out. So I don't know. I don't know if it's working, but
Well,
I
I
can't
don't-
keep the AC on all night. I know that.
No.
Yeah,
At this point, we try anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it used to be nobody needed air conditioning in San Diego, and now here we are talking about how to deal with it, and
Right.
we don't have air conditioning, and so the fans, closing the shades so the sun doesn't come in, all this kind of stuff becomes really important.
Right. Right, which
but
kind of
it's-
puts us into where you guys come in, which is
Yep.
the climate change, right? And how it's affecting us over the years and over the time. And you're absolutely right. And, now thinking about it, I'm like, well, I don't even know if we had an AC, to be honest. Because now I'm thinking of my grandpa's house when I was living there. I mean, my grandpa never really even used a dishwasher, and I know it was a dishwasher. You know what I mean? Like, he used to put plastic bags in there. I didn't know that thing would actually wash dishes. But yeah, like I don't remember like using the AC that often. It was like 80s. It was a great climate through summer. You can go to the pool and feel good. But yeah, it's definitely something's changed within the last couple decades.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But that's why you guys are here. You guys kind of give us a little bit more information. But actually, Angela, before we even start there, I was sad to hear that you're not going to be at PIFA this year.
Yeah, I was sad to hear that too. I'm not on the steering committee of our organization, and they have to weigh a lot of factors. And I guess last year we didn't succeed in signing up a whole lot of people, and it is quite a lot of money, $300 for our organization.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm kind of sad about it, but hopefully we'll make it back again. And
Well,
I guess if we can get the word out about climate change and we're going to get people activated, maybe
guess
we
if
would
we're
get
out
more
there.
people.
Right.
I guess if we're out there, They can do a segment.
Stop by.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That'd be wonderful.
Use our booth to promote whatever's going on.
Yeah, that'd be great. I really appreciate that.
So tell us what you guys been doing since the last time you came on. I know we had, God, I can't remember the guy's name now, but
Phil and James,
who are hilarious. Phil and James are man, they were cracking us up.
Oh yeah.
Didn't expect the comedy part of it, but how did their event go? Do you know? It was
the one down in Chula Vista, the interfaith. Oh gosh, what's it called? Beers or something? Beers? I can't.
No, I think they had another one over the one in Balboa Park.
Right.
It started in Balboa Park, but then they also had a march. I believe that while we were in Guam.
In downtown?
Yeah.
Was it downtown?
Yeah, they were marching from I think Balboa down to Embarcadero or something like that.
No, that's. I think you're thinking of the one that's coming up.
Oh, that's
it hasn't passed yet. It hasn't passed yet, bro.
You haven't.
They were talking about that.
Okay.
You can still come.
Okay.
And you gotta come.
I'll tell you right now, you better have some sprayers or something. If it's hot like this, I'm gonna be very upset walking down here.
Cooler than here, I'm sure.
Damn, climate change. Climate change.
Oh,
You have one pissed off Samoan walking down there like, damn climate change. We need to do something.
Well, you can jump into the bay when you get to the end of the march.
Could do that, but they also need to clean that water a little bit too. Get that oil out of there.
Just keep your mouth closed.
That's how you drown.
But yeah, so tell us more about the efforts that you guys have been doing and how everything's been going.
So our big push now, I would say, is the Rise for Climate March that's coming up on September 8th, 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock. And so actually, Jasif and B are both on the promotion team for that event, and B is actually leading that team. So yeah, we've been actually B is going to be going to a meeting right after this.
Oh, really?
Because the promotion team.
Yeah, a planning meeting for things like logistics, promotion, just reaching out to our coalition, all that kind of stuff that you never even think you need for something like this, but somebody's got to do it. Getting permits, which we did for the first time this year, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it's good. It's coming together, and I am personally sort of trying to reach out to the student community, San Diego State in particular, but the city colleges are going to be in session. I think their first class is the 22nd of August, so I'm planning to sort of jump on that, when the students come and, get them while they're still dazed and confused and say, hey, well, here's something you can do.
That's actually a good idea. Like, get them to sign up for something and they're just, But, it's also a good reason. And that's young minds, like they...
Yeah, well, they're our future. They need to get on board.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think at that point, they're still trying to find which way they want to go.
Which way they fit in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, exactly. Especially the freshmen. I mean, I think everybody remembers their first day at school, and you're trying to make friends, and you're trying to, maybe find some group that you can sort of slide into where you'll have a ready set group of friends and people you can connect with. And
right.
So I think it's a perfect opportunity because at the beginning of the year, people are still, trickling in, and they haven't really decided on a lot of things. So hopefully we'll be there to scoop them up and get them to the march.
That's awesome.
Have you done that in the past? And if so, how was the response with the college kids?
Well, I have done other promotional things, but never on this scale. So I've been told that the students, they can, well, I don't know if I should say this, but they can talk a good game, but it's hard to actually see them do it.
Right.
So my plan is to just keep reminding them, you said you were going to do this, remember we're going to do that, and you're going to talk to this person, and you're going to talk to your professors and your coaches, and I mean, they've got amazing networks on campuses, and
right.
trying to sort of take advantage of that.
And tell me a little bit more about you said there's a lot of logistics, more that you, I guess, have been involved with up to this point.
Yeah, well, like, we're starting at City Hall, so we need to make sure that they know we're coming. And then you need tables, you need sound systems, you need marshals to make sure that everybody knows where they're supposed to go, and you need nurses in case somebody has a medical emergency.
Wow.
Just stuff like that.
Yeah, that you're not really thinking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of logistics. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we're also reaching out to, we have over 40 partners And the last I saw, I think there are going to be 16 of them who want to set up tables at the end of the march to, like, for voter registration or to promote their own things. Like there's the Bike Coalition, I'm pretty sure, is having a booth, and so we want to make sure that they're all set up and they have what they need to be effective, and also to support what we're doing.
Right.
So.
No, that's awesome. I just, you don't think about those logistics, and I totally don't. Me personally, I don't think about that stuff when we do PIFA. About having, like, the space. Obviously, you need the permits for that, but about the nursing, the nurses, having to have nurses on site, have to have marshals on site, and things like that, and also, let people know you're coming to a certain direction. I thought people just, like, got together and was start, all right, let's go, let's march. Let's go. What are they going to do? They're going to stop you? Like, you're going to arrest 5,000 people?
Yeah.
You don't have nurses here. You don't.
And yeah, so that's what you guys are expecting, right? About 5,000?
Yeah, last year we had 5,500 people march, so it was a pretty big march. So
yeah, that's
this
huge.
year we're really trying to promote it and make sure everybody's aware of it and doesn't miss out.
Cool. And so how was that? Was that your biggest march up to date?
I actually just started in January. So,
oh, really? This year?
Yeah, it was actually my New Year's resolution. I was like, I'm going to join a nonprofit organization and I'm going to start volunteering with my time that I had. I had a lot of extra free time with my work schedule. So I was like, I'm not doing anything. I need to start doing something. So I committed to going to one event every month. And kind of when that event's over, I'm going to commit to the next one for next month. And it kind of started trickling to 3 events a month, 2 events. Hey, Jessica, can you do this? Can you do this? I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. What else am I doing?
This sure is some good Kool-Aid you guys are serving here.
So that's how it started. But in February, we went to the Women's March, and that was really big. It wasn't something we organized, but something we participated in. So I'm really excited to be able to help organize and promote the march that's coming up in September. So it's really exciting, even doing something, even going to like a city council meeting or going to senator's office.
Right.
It's something I would have not done if I wasn't active. So it's just a great opportunity that I felt like I actually had to step into wanting to do it. So it's wanting to do it first, and then, I mean, there's so many opportunities you could do it. It's never, oh, we don't need you, we won't contact you. We'll get 2 or 3 emails, hey, this event's happening, do you want to go, do you want to go, do you want to go? And I'm like, oh, choose this one, and this one fits in my schedule, so I'll make time for it. And then that's how it's gone. So it's August, and I'm still doing my New Year's resolution.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Isn't that a trip, though? Like, you're saying something that you would have never done.
Yeah.
And then when you're doing it and you stop and you think about it, you're like, man, you think about where you came from.
Yeah.
And at that point, you never thought you'd be like at a city council meeting talking to people, right? And then there you are, and you're like, wow, how the heck did I get here?
I know they had me do media spokesperson in Spanish because there aren't very many Spanish
And your
speakers.
interpreter? Wow.
Here we go.
So
We're going to Mexico, baby. ParBar, Mexico.
So I was on the Mexican news project, and I sent it to my grandma. I'm like, look, grandma, I was on TV. She's like, wow, I saw you on TV. This is so cool. And I'm just like, yeah, I mean, I actually get to do something that I enjoy, and I know it's for a better cause rather than.
That's nice. At least your grandma was excited to see you on the news. I think my grandma was like, your hair, what's wrong with your hair?
Yeah, we're on the news for different reasons.
Yeah, why are you wearing that? But I have a question. So, what was it about climate change that made you say, you know what, this is the one I want to be part of?
So a funny story. In December, I think I had seen an interview with the founder of 350, and I don't really know a lot of nonprofits. It's really hard to finding which one's the right one. So because I had seen what his message was and his interview, I was like, well, let me see if there's something in San Diego. So I went on their website, put my name information in. The next day they call me. It's maybe January 2nd. January 4th, I'm meeting with Olga at Starbucks about how I can start. And that day she's like, well, we have this coming up. Do you want to sign up? I'm like, okay, I'll be there.
Oh, wow.
So it's a lot of commitment where I'm like, well, do I want to flake and not show up? And I'm just like, but what is that going to say about me? So it's kind of that commitment that I said I'm going to go and I'm going to show up and not be like, well, where's Jacid? Why isn't she answering? I never wanted that to be my image.
Right.
So that's how it all just
that's awesome.
started.
Can I you didn't want to be one of those college students that she was talking about.
I'm so sorry. I kind of automatically assumed. Where are you from?
I'm from Mexico.
Okay, I just want to make sure. they want to be like, oh, she's not from Mexico. I'm like, oh shit. Well,
You know, yeah.
Excuse me, but I'm from Panama.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know.
But that's something about San Diego 350 that I really like too, is that there's always something to do,
Yeah.
and you can do, whatever comes up. If it's something that you're interested in, you're welcome to join in on a part of a team, or even pick it up by yourself and run with it. And Angela, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think of the environmental organizations in this city, we probably have one of the strongest volunteer bases.
Yes, I think that's pretty much indisputable.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as the size of our volunteer base and how grassroots we are. So there's lots of great organizations in San Diego working on issues related to climate, but I think it's, we've got the biggest base of people who are really
Actually show up and come out and
Yeah. I mean, because me personally, until we met you guys, I don't think I really ever talked about climate change with anybody in San Diego. I mean, there's been a couple other podcasts we've had, episodes where we meet new people to learn new things, but it's things that we know that are out there. I would say that 350 is definitely the ones that, or at least Angela, she's very active and she always wants to come on, and I told her we want people to come on, every 90 days, 120 days, because that way you kind of keep it in mind, like this is still happening.
Keep the message fresh.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you don't beat it down their face, but but you want constant reminders, things happening.
Do your listeners know why it's called 350?
Yes, they did. We had that with on the first podcast.
Yeah, but that was quite some time ago. So, B, do you want to? I mean, I think it bears repeating. I'm sure you've got a lot of new listeners, right?
Exactly.
Well, it stands for 350 particles per million of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, and that's considered by a lot of people as the safe level to maintain. And unfortunately, we are above that level now. We're at 410, I think. Yeah. So we need to bring that down. We need to cut carbon emissions, and otherwise, it's on an exponential rise.
Right.
And if we don't do something now, in fact, that's one of the hashtags for the Rise for Climate is hashtag Crossroads, because now it's really a crucial time to act. We can't wait any longer.
Right. Yeah. Who was the gentleman that was here? He was like a scientist.
That was Ken Nollett.
Yeah, Ken. He kind of explained it, and it was because I think he had kind of same story as Jasif, where he was a scientist and he was just like, I felt like I needed to do something. I had knowledge to do things, and so he jumped in and jumped on board. Which I think is great about 350 is that the people who jump on, they have this like calling. They say, hey, you know what? I need to start doing something to help the environment, or at least do something to help people, humanity. And they jump with 350, and everybody I've met, they've all been great, and they all been like funny, to meet, great people.
Yeah, of course.
But tell me a little bit more. So, let me ask you this: when you guys have, and this is kind of like playing the devil's advocate, when you guys have people who say, it's not real, it's not. There's science there, but it's not fact enough. So, what do you guys tell them, or what do you suggest to them?
We don't really engage with those people because, they haven't been reasoned into that position. They didn't use reason to arrive at that, that point of view. So we're not going to be able to convince them otherwise. I mean, but I think people are starting, with all the fires. I mean, the terrible fires.
That fire is
and here and in other countries too, in Portugal and even in Sweden, and I think the light bulb's starting to go on, and hopefully it's not too late. I mean, we've got very little time to turn this thing around.
Right. So it's more like a ignore what you can't save and just keep on moving forward.
Yeah, we don't have time to waste on the people who are just complete climate deniers. We just don't have the time. We have to move on. We have to keep pushing. So there's plenty of people who, accept that it's happening and they just don't know how to get involved. So those are the people we need to get engaged.
Gotcha.
And
Yeah.
And I just want to jump in quickly here and say that the the rally march we're having on September 8th, the main purpose is to let our political leaders know that enough people care about this issue and want them to lead instead of what they're doing now, which is nothing.
Right.
So if we can get enough people to impress them, then maybe there will be some hope, because it depends on them. I mean, I'm on the transportation team, and Sandag really needs to step up and really they're on the verge of creating a new regional transportation plan, and it has to get people out of their cars. Transportation is 40% of our carbon emissions.
Right, right.
And for them, it's just easier to build more freeways, and that means more people in their cars, more greenhouse gas emissions. And so we're with a coalition that is working really hard to meet with the members of Sandag and get them to get out of their comfort zone and do something big that will make a difference, not just more of the same.
More of the same thing that's been going on. Gotcha.
And that's the thing, is in California, period, people depend on their cars so much that it's really hard to pull that pacifier away from them.
Right.
Well,
so to speak.
in a lot of places there are no other options.
Right. Right.
And that has to change.
Yeah.
Because I think if people are given a system that is faster and reliable, they will...
And affordable.
And affordable,
affordable.
of course. They will leave their cars at home and jump on and get to work and get home.
It'll save you miles and gas on your car too. Why wouldn't you? You know?
Yeah.
That's one thing I was
expensive to have a
really
car.
impressed with up in Portland. In Portland, Oregon.
Oh.
They have that whole tram system up there.
Yeah.
And
Oh, really?
people use that thing like crazy. Those trams are full. And that thing goes around the whole city, from the airport all around the whole town.
Yeah.
And every station
So-
fills that thing up, and people are jumping on and
So
on.
why you don't think San Diego's transportation system is better?
Because it doesn't go everywhere like
Where you need to go.
yeah.
Yeah.
It gets you maybe close by,
Right.
and then
Gotta hop on the bus.
you gotta
So
hop
it's
on a bus.
Not
It's
as convenient?
not as convenient. No.
Right.
Oh, well, that
Yeah.
makes sense. It's not really a great solution, but, you know.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I started taking transit was only to save money initially, and that's because I found out that I was living right here next to the trolley,
station.
and then I didn't have to pay for parking anymore, and it was because at that time I think my work was subsidizing my parking, so it was $100 a month to park in downtown. I was like, okay, well I can afford that, and the convenience of going down there and driving my car. And once we weren't subsidized, it was like $225. I was like, I'm not paying $225 a month to park downtown. So then I started taking the trolley, which was free from work. And then you see how convenient it was, because it dropped me right in front of work. I was like, wow, that's not bad. I was like, man, imagine if you could do this all over San Diego.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you kind of can, but, I mean, from here to Mission Valley, like when I wanted to go to my brother's house, but I didn't want to drive because I knew I was going to be drinking that night.
Right.
I took the bus. I had to catch the bus up here, which is a 15-minute ride down there. Then to ride all the way around was another 45 minutes. When I could have drove there in like 20, I got there in an hour 15.
Yeah.
Which to me is like inconvenient, and I'm just thinking of what the normal person thinks. They're like, that's super inconvenient to 20-minute drive versus a hour 15 bus ride.
Yeah, we've
And I
got to
think
make it competitive.
Yeah.
Transportation has got, our
Yeah.
public transit has to be competitive with driving, so
Right.
that people will see them as, okay, well, I could get there almost as fast, and and maybe read while I'm instead of having to,
If it was
sit there
40,
paying attention to the
someone
traffic.
said 40 or 30 minutes, 35 minutes, 40 minutes. I totally would take the transit to my brother's house to go Mission Valley.
But I think where places where people are accustomed to using public transportation, they already know this ahead of time, so they plan like when they're going to leave to get where they want to be or need to be on time. So they plan for that, and they're used to that. That's just their way of life.
Right.
Yeah.
Or for us here, if you haven't been doing it all that time and you start taking public transportation, it's a huge change because of that time frame.
Yeah.
You have to adjust to that.
Yeah. Well, and San Diego is like Los Angeles. It was the city was built around a car.
I hate Los
I grew up in Philadelphia, where there's a very good train system. I mean, the public transportation's there really good because you have a central downtown and then people around it. So they could easily build, the infrastructure for public transportation. My father took the train to work and home every day, and it was just like, that's what everybody did. But here, it's so fragmented and people are so spread out. It's a challenge for San Diego and Los Angeles to get a good system because everybody's going every which way and not just 10 miles. They're going 30, 40 plus miles.
Right.
Well, old San Diego used to have a pretty intricate trolley system.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if they would have stuck with that from way
constantly
back then,
build on that.
Yeah, and constantly build on it because it did literally go everywhere.
Yeah.
And they got away from that, and it was just the city buses and people driving their cars, and then just one day back in the late 70s or early 80s, somebody got the bright idea to, hey, let's come up with the trolley, which is great, but you were still limited on where you were going to go. So, over the decades, they've been expanding the areas, but it's kind of, I want to say too little too late, but we're behind the times right now.
We are, and people need to demand better transportation.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not going to happen.
And another thing that's related to that, sorry, we're going to say something, is the lack of affordable housing, which is pushing people to have to, move out to, further and further
That's
away.
a whole nother show there, Angela.
Well, it's all these things are very interrelated.
Yeah.
And so, that's one area I'm kind of getting interested in is transit-oriented development and,
So
trying to make sure
give me an ideal transit system on like another state where you're like, man, I idolize that one. Obviously, New York's like one of the best ones, right? From what I hear.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been.
Me neither.
Chicago's got a pretty good subway system over there. Yeah.
San Francisco's is not bad.
Oh yeah, I've been to the Bay on the BART. I've been on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that takes you pretty far actually.
The BART. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they have a backup bus system. One of my kids lives there, and he though is in an area where it could use some help. So it's not perfect, but and another thing is they have BART trains that go to the airports, not only San Francisco Airport, but Oakland, and we still don't have something like that here. And they're not even talking about it. I was at a meeting the other day with a Sandag representative who was talking about that. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there's a new trolley that's going to go in that connects to I think it's the Blue Line that starts at the Mexican border and then it'll connect where that ends and go up into La Jolla and UCSD and the hospitals and UTC.
Yeah, it runs up through Rose Canyon along the 5.
Exactly, around like the railroad track.
That's pretty good, right? I mean, that's awesome.
But somebody said, so a person in the audience said, well, what about, do you have any plans for public transportation to the airport? And the representative said, no, not yet.
Yeah.
And it's funny.
Wouldn't that be like a key?
Yeah, because you see where the trolley tracks are at. You see where the airport is, and it does this. Here's the airport, and the trolley track goes away from
That don't make no sense.
It's funny. I've always wondered. I was like, how come none of these?
Something?
Because I have to go to Arizona here in a couple weeks, and I was like, oh, maybe I could take the trolley. I have to jump on the bus or something. And I was
I think
like,
there is a bus. But
yeah, there's a bus, but then it drops you off like
yeah.
at the corner. It doesn't even like actually go in there.
Oh, really?
Which is annoying, yeah. Right? Like you have to walk like while these cars are like zooming past you.
You're going where?
Arizona. Yeah.
And how many weeks?
It's not hot enough
2
here
weeks.
for you?
Are you sure?
Huh? Yeah, I know. That's why I said like, yeah, I'm going the week of your wedding. I'll be back that morning.
You getting married?
7 a.m., son.
All right.
Yeah, I'll be
yes,
back
I am
then.
getting married.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. But if Rich D is not there, you won't see me on this show anymore.
I was actually supposed to go to the conference that morning as well because it's a 5-day conference.
Oh, no, that's cool.
And I was like, I got to leave that morning. And my boss was like, cool.
No, quick question. Since we're on the subject of transportation, what's everybody's quick take on Tesla and their whole deal?
Well,
She's like,
electric cars are a good thing, but we shouldn't plan on them being the only alternative because electric cars clog freeways just as much as fuel burning cars.
Right.
But I mean, if you're going to go out and buy a car, better to get one electric or hybrid than pure gasoline.
Then a V8 sitting outside like mine.
Then that diesel truck I was gonna get next week.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
No,
I'm just kidding.
honestly, I think Tesla's a good idea.
No,
I mean,
Tesla's so expensive though, man. That's the only
actually,
thing.
they're kind of lowering.
Are they?
Price. The new
Like
Model
what?
3 is like 30,000, something like that.
30,000?
Yeah.
But you're on like a 6-year waiting list.
I don't think it's that long. I say about a year.
Oh, okay. I would
But
get Tesla.
yeah. I mean,
But you know what's the bad thing about Tesla?
yeah. Tell me, I don't know. Yeah.
You just can't go down and buy a part that you need for it. You have to actually call them,
Right.
give them like the VIN number and all the stuff, and you know, and go through. And it's super pricey. You know, and if you get one that's wrecked and you try to do it yourself and call them up, they have that VIN number on a block list or a blacklist where they won't even deal with you for the parts. Wow.
Yeah. There's
Oh, who's that?
what's up? How you doing? Hey, no, but yeah, I heard about Tesla. They their parts is very like low. You know what I mean? And then you have to go to Tesla to get your car, repaired and whatnot. Yeah. They don't have repair shops, like on every other corner, like.
You can't get them at AutoZone or whatever.
So it's like you own the car, but you don't own the car. Because there's only one place you could go for repair.
And that's to Tesla.
Like I can't go to Pop and ask him to fix my.
No.
Not yet.
They won't even sell you a part.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They won't even sell you a part.
Oh, wow.
You have to go get it done by them.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You actually have to take the car to Tesla, or dealership.
Right, well, then I'm thinking of public transportation.
Me too. I'm with you, Rich.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people can't afford electric cars either, and we have an eye on social justice as well in our
Barely for
organization,
broccoli
so.
at this point. Jesus.
Yeah, that's. I just wanted to emphasize what Angela just said, is that San Diego 350 is very concerned about social justice, and especially in terms of carbon emissions. I mean, the area around Barrio Logan has, like all these freeways converging, and that affects them big time. It's the air quality is worse. It affects their health. And that's just not right. Yeah. So we want the transition to 100% renewables. We want to be equitable for everybody. Not just the people who can afford electric cars or who can live, outside of the freeway mass.
Yeah. Nice area like La Jolla or whatever the case is. The air does feel better up there sometimes.
Yeah, but it's getting hot everywhere.
It is.
That's true.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the march on September 8th. I know, you guys have a whole. It starts at, I think, what did you say, 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
10 a.m. But you can get there earlier, and there's going to be a little bit of things for you guys to kind of do. Jessica, want to drop us a little bit of information on that?
So I know they're having the prayer session, but they moved it from Balboa Park down to the Civic Center just to keep it all in the same place, so you don't have to commute too much. And I believe it's going to start at 8:30, but they haven't confirmed it yet. So since I'm doing all of the social media promotion, I haven't posted that out yet. And then after the march, since they're going to be going from the Civic Center down to the Embarcadero and then back, there's going to be some live music after, and speeches, and just a lot of motivational and educational things that you wouldn't get, from being at home. It's good to go out there, kind of support your community, and just march together as a community and just show everybody that you're there for, I like to call it not climate change, I like to call it climate crisis, because this is more of a crisis now. I'm sweating here, not normal. But yeah, it's definitely something that I'll do. I know for some of the marches I'll go by myself. I don't need to go with friends or bring people along, because I'm there for something I want to do, not something that I'm doing to show off or show my friends or anything. It's something that I think I need to do for the better of the community.
That's right.
Yeah,
it's not anything for it's not something for
It's funny. You said community, so it's like, because I don't know why I was thinking about this. I think I was walking in the heat. But I was thinking about my son starting school on August 20th, and I was thinking about I always think about his school, and the sense of community, you know, like, so when they have PTA meetings, that we should be there, and we should be there as a community to kind of get things right the way we want it. Because when I see like community meetings in other communities, like La Jolla, Temecula,
People
the
are
whole
involved.
community is there. The whole community is there to support that.
Yeah.
Right? Like how we go to a concert is how we
It's
should be a community in our events around San
If
Diego.
not more.
If not more.
Right.
Anything.
The funny
anything.
thing
if not
about that is, too, why I started to join San Diego 350 is because I felt like I was becoming very antisocial. Very not even talking to your neighbors, not knowing who the people around you are. So getting to know people and people who are interested in the same thing was really important for me, too. So I was like, how else? I know my coworkers, but I don't hang out with them outside of work. I go home and go to work, and how do I get to know more people, you know? Like
Social media, the app.
yeah, but you know, that's not the same thing. There's a lot of hate on there and a lot
I
of
hate that. I hate
bad
social
things
media.
on there, you know. So going out and seeing people who actually want to do better for
Right.
themselves and want to do better for the community is really important. Like I met Angela and she's a great person, and a lot of I met her in person today. I've talked to her over the phone, but there's like a lot of scientists too, and I like having a conversation with them about what they know and feeding off of their knowledge because.
Right.
Other than that, I'll be
And
on my
us, you
phone
met us
typing.
over here. And
Yeah, I met you guys today.
We're awesome.
You know,
I was waiting for that.
what would I have done if I didn't come? I would have not have met you guys. You know, it's
Yeah.
just things you meet. Going out to a march, you're gonna meet people there, and you never know. You might make a friend, and you might have something in common with them, and like have a barbecue, and I don't know, different things that you don't really see people do anymore. You know,
Right.
Can't barbecue.
But that's
It emits carbon.
but that's the thing too.
Well, as long as you're not burning
You
charcoal.
gotta barbecue around the tree.
But Joseph's making a really good point, because at the end of the march is where we're going to have all of the partners with their tabling, and you can listen to people giving their talks. They're going to be a number of speakers, but I think they're going to be limited to a very short period of time.
Right.
But after the march, you'll have all the time you need to go around, check out the other tables, and see who's there and what they're doing, and if it looks like something that you could get involved with, or even just listen to them and find out what they're doing.
Right.
And there's going to be an awesome face painter there too.
Oh, nice. You know, it's,
You don't need any more face painting.
yeah,
After last weekend.
yeah, I did it.
Yeah.
I had my face painted last week.
I don't know if it'd rival what you've got going there,
It's okay.
guys, but it's pretty cool.
No, it sounds like an amazing event. I hope I'm gonna try my best to make it out there. I want to be there.
Let's go.
I know Angela, you want us to partner up with you guys.
Yeah.
Kind of be out there, and man, I mean, I like to see it because I've never, like Justin said, I've never actually been to any climate change events.
Oh, you got to come.
Yeah, you
I've
gotta
never
come.
been to a march.
Oh,
We gotta change that.
I ain't marching nowhere.
I've been to a
For your
march.
wife, for your new wife.
She's
what
down.
march did you go to?
It was a zombie walk for Comic-Con.
You're trying to make a change, man. You're just trying to have fun.
Tell me you didn't really do that.
I was marching. No, I did do that.
Were you dressed as a zombie?
No, I just wanted to walk with him. That was cool.
Well, grab your zombie friends and march on September 8th.
I didn't get to talk to any of them. They were in character.
All right.
They wouldn't break character.
What did I say? What was gonna happen last time? If I was to go,
With
kids
Phil?
are gonna use me as like a teeter totter.
Because I think Phil, they're going to be doing a different. They're going to be laying to the east, the west, and north and south.
Oh yeah, that's
Yes.
the prayer event
Right.
that Joseph was
Right.
referring to.
And so they wanted
Yeah.
Noel to go out.
Oh yeah.
And so I think they were like talking about him using him as a jumping tool.
Have a jumper for the kids.
Yeah.
Have you had experience? Has that happened
No,
before?
I told him if I lay on my stomach, the kids are gonna see me. They're gonna see me as like a teeter totter. They're just gonna start jumping all over me.
So, but yeah. So if we can figure out, I don't know why can I not make that? I want to say there's something going on September.
There's something going on. Oh,
What's the date again?
It's a
There's something
Saturday.
going on that day.
September 8th.
September
I don't know
8th.
what it is. But,
There is something.
but you could make it. I know we couldn't make it, but you could make it. That's why Phil was really involved with you going.
There is something going on.
Yeah, but we'll figure it out. And if we can make it,
But you tell your
whatever, then-
friends. I mean, if you personally can't go
Yeah.
for whatever reason.
No, yeah, no,
No,
if
but
you're up to-
us as market nuisance, man, we should go to
Yeah,
support. You know
'cause
what I mean? Because
um,
we do have a big problem and
Exactly.
over there.
Especially right now with the contractors on Guam, the military contractors. Did you see that one story where they dumped all that fuel out?
Oh yeah.
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 I didn't see that.
Yeah, they dumped a bunch of oil. They didn't say anything for like 6 months.
Yeah, it was up in Arnold.
It's the water.
Wow.
Not that. It's just the risings of the sea and stuff like that.
Even that.
Yeah,
the
I mean
Maldives,
that's your people whose islands are going underwater.
And that's why if you're watching, I mean that's why we're kind of involved here, or you're listening, and why we had 350 come on, because it does affect the Pacific Islands. Yeah, immensely. Like I said, the Maldives are going underwater already. They're pretty much.
That's crazy.
They're going to be tanked probably within the next couple of years if they don't figure out something to do. But yeah, so September 8th. Tell us a little bit more. How long is the event?
It's from 10 until 2.
10 until 2 o'clock.
I feel like I should give you a little bit of background as to the timing of the event.
Sure.
So, Governor Jerry Brown is convening a climate action summit in San Francisco from September 12th to 14th. So this event is timed to be, just ahead of that, because there's also a campaign. There's a lot of things tying in together here, but there's a campaign called Brown's Last Chance, because Governor Brown is about to term out. He's, this is his last. He'll be out in November, I guess.
Yeah.
So, while he has touted himself as a climate leader, in some senses he has been, but in other ways he totally has not been.
Right.
Because actually California is the 6th largest oil and gas producer.
Right.
Oil producer in the nation. I think they're the 13th largest gas producer in the nation. So, and he hasn't thrown his full support behind Senate Bill 100, which would, have California reaching our clean energy goals a little sooner.
Right.
So, there's, and I think he's been beholden to fossil fuel lobbyists.
Right.
But now that he's not up for re-election again, I mean, he doesn't have that, what's stopping him?
Right.
So,
pressure.
So we're, that's a lot of the impetus behind the, and there's going to be marches all around the U.S. and around the world too. So if your listeners in Texas, I know Jasmine was looking up to see if there was an event in Texas, and she didn't see one, but I mean,
I didn't have enough time.
I don't know. I mean,
Texas, there could be. I mean, if you really want to go, I'm sure they could look something up in their area and find something.
Yeah,
they can go in March if they want, but I think it's raining.
What's the whole event called worldwide?
Rise for Climate.
Rise for Climate is the name around the world.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna have Jay, the bartender. He'll look it up. Check that out. See if there's an event for Rise for Climate in Texas. That's his job. That's what he does.
Yeah.
Gets beer and looks up information.
And if you don't find it there, you can just go to 350.org. That's the umbrella organization.
Right.
And 'cause I was looking at that because I have a brother who lives in South Carolina, and I wanted to see if they were doing anything. And he's in Charleston. They weren't doing anything there, but they were doing something sort of in the northern part of the state. So you can see where all these things are happening, and some of them have slightly different names, but they're all with the same purpose. And you can pass around. I left these here for you to pass around to any of your friends who might be interested. Or,
and I would also say that if you look on the 350.org website or some other website and you don't find an action or a march in your area, well, you can contact 350.org, and I'm sure they'll help you get start a group or just organize a one-time event. Right. So.
So what's the at this particular march? Obviously, it's just for awareness, awareness of that the climate change and things like that, to get more people involved. Well, what's going to be the next goal after Rise for Climate?
Well, we're trying to get community choice energy here in San Diego, and the city of San Diego has been getting tantalizingly close to implementing it, but they just can't seem to take that final step. I think maybe B, you might know a little bit more about it. I'm not sure.
Well, the Barbara Bree, who's on the city council, she's a real champion of this, and it's a matter, I believe, of the city council. Well, no, I actually shouldn't talk about this because I don't know the details. But like Angela says, it's close. We can taste it.
So tell me, what is that?
So community choice energy is well, essentially SDG&E has a monopoly right now, and so community.
I hate those guys.
Me too.
Community choice energy is something that's allowed by a law. I think it's a 2002 California law. Allows municipalities to either on their own or joining together with other municipalities. Or jurisdictions, I should say, because it could be like a county. They can, band together, and then they can directly buy energy. And the law requires that the local utility let them distribute that energy over the existing infrastructure, the existing utilities infrastructure. So that what that means is the city or the CCE doesn't have to build their own, power poles and their own, an entire infrastructure. They can use the existing.
Yeah, they would basically pay rent to SDG&E for the use of the power lines and the poles in those territories.
Yeah.
And then the city, the municipality itself, the city would control the buying of the energy, just like the ISO does, right? And so they would control that per city. So where the fear is that you get some greedy politicians with these cities that would start overcharging the citizens within their city for the electricity.
Well, the thing is, unlike with San Diego 350, SDG&E, unlike with SDG&E, where they're purely in it for profit, right? They're an investor-owned utility. With CCE, it's an elected board, so we can kick them out if they're not doing the job, to our liking. So, and the profits. Any profits would go into the community, so I'm not sure what So I'm not really sure that's a real concern.
It would be all depending on how that city sets up the funding, where the funding is going.
Yeah, and they have to do feasibility studies, and it's all.
Yeah, there's still a lot involved with it for them to really get it kicked off and going. And we've been hearing about it for a long time. Yeah,
well, the city of San Diego actually did a feasibility study, and everything came out it looks really good. That they would beat SDG&E on price, not by much, but just by they're competitive with each other.
Right.
So
what about? Let me ask you this. So this is something I don't know. With the moves that they're supposed to be doing for solar panels. Well, how does that affect SDG&E and what you're suggesting, which is the CCE?
CCE.
If everybody had a solar panel on their house, and that was
awesome.
required, right? So then, how does it affect both companies or either? So then you're just like, well, we have all these power companies that don't really have to do anything anymore.
Well,
you can get like a Tesla battery, put it in the house, and you're good.
Well, SDG&E's getting to the solar business now.
Yeah, they're already in renewable energy.
Yeah.
I believe
because
that
they're required to be. Not because they want to be.
Yeah, but the problem is that they, as a business, they have long-term investments, and so they see this as a threat to their long-term investments that rely on, the ones that rely on fossil fuels. But on the other hand, if and when it passes, I believe it'll pass. It will encourage the renewable energy businesses, which is what we want.
Ultimately, the goal is.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I was wondering. I was like, well, because this is that in effect where like all California needs to have solar panels on their house within 2028
That's right.
or something?
There is something,
there was some legislation about that. I'm sorry, I can't.
Oh, right. Any new housing?
Housing. Yeah.
Solar housing must be required to have like solar
Yeah.
panels.
Well, that's a start. We've got a long way to go.
Yeah.
So what's considered new housing?
Well, any new developments.
Oh,
Yeah.
from now on.
Yeah, because they've done some test communities where they've run the entire community off of solar.
Right.
To see if they can generate enough and store enough to run that whole community. So just think of a hillside full of panels feeding, the southeast end of Otay Ranch.
Right.
So they've done their studies on it. Yes, we can do this. In Imperial Valley, they have a big solar farm out there. On the way up to Vegas, there's another big solar farm.
Oh, yeah.
Where they're able to
Oh
grab
man,
this.
that solar farm is huge.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy,
Yeah.
bro. There's one out there in the valley like that. Where they grab this energy from the sun and they're able to store it and then distribute it out when it's needed. So,
what is it in that solar farm? This is this is
still
just
get charged the full amount.
What is that? What is what is that thing right in the middle of the solar farm? The one that's reflecting more light onto it.
So, let's see. I'm trying to remember how it was explained to me. I think what that does is it draws in the sun, and then it amplifies the sunlight to create even more light into the panels to create more energy to store.
Yeah.
You were up close and personal to one of these solar farms?
No, I've talked to people about them because I've talked to people that been around them, and they're talking about that thing lets off so much heat just from the sun.
Yeah.
If birds fly across it, it cooks them in the air.
Ooh.
What?
Oh, bummer.
Damn.
That's how much energy this thing takes in, and it's pretty comparable to the sun.
That's nuts.
Well, the good news is that the battery storage capability is getting better and better too. So you'll hear sometimes people saying, well, we're making all this energy and we can't use it. Well, that's changing.
Yeah, it's the solar of today is a lot different than the solar of the 80s. Because I remember there was that big push for solar back in the 80s, and people were getting solar panels on their houses and stuff, and then all of a sudden it was a big failure. So they went back to the drawing board, and they found ways to reinvent that wheel.
Yeah.
And we have what we have today. You know, you drive by the military housing now, I think about 95-98% of the rooftops have solar power on them.
Well, have you noticed like
the schools,
high schools, high school parking lots,
parking
Walmart
structures.
parking lots?
Yeah, community
That's a great
colleges.
idea.
Yeah.
There's some
it's
strip
great.
malls that have done the same thing too.
Yeah.
They provide shade as well as,
Exactly.
creating
Who would have
energy.
thought?
Creating energy.
Who would have
Then,
thought?
back to Texas. Back to Texas.
No, we
Austin has a march,
Oh, great.
and yes, and
Austin, Texas.
also Houston.
Houston,
Oh,
Texas.
nice.
Okay.
So the listeners who are out in Texas,
They got a
it's,
350 out
Austin
there.
and Houston.
Houston has a lot of oil refineries, isn't it? So I'm sure there's a lot of people affected by, the air quality, bad air quality from all the oil refineries and all that.
Hire Aaron Brockovich. Just kidding.
What about
I love that
They
movie.
have good barbecue though.
Yeah, you do.
You're going the
what are you
opposite
guys'
way.
feelings on natural gas?
We're against.
What did you just say? What are our feelings on natural gas? Oh, it's better than coal, but that's not saying much.
We just defeated a proposed gas pipeline, 36-inch gas. I say we, that's
the
us
one in
and,
Michigan?
a coalition of other organizations. So SDG&E wanted to, they were claiming that there was a 16-inch line that needed to be replaced, and they wanted to replace it with a 36-inch line. And so our whole thing is, let's not, increase the capacity for fossil fuels. So we, the CPUC, Public Utilities Commission, they voted 5-0 to oppose that. They realize we don't really need that pipeline.
Yeah.
And so, natural gas is fossil fuel, and when it escapes into the atmosphere, that's methane, which is something like 40 times more potent as a greenhouse gas. So it's got more warming potential. So methane, and I think I referred on the last podcast to the fact that animal agriculture is responsible for a lot of methane too. So we've got to cut down on methane.
Yeah, definitely the beef intake.
Yeah.
One more thing, or one more time on the September 8th. So September 8th, you guys are all going to be there.
Yes.
Phil and all those guys are going to be there.
Some of you are going to be there. I
Yes. we're going to figure out if we're going to be there. But who is it? Ken and
James and Phil and Shanti.
Shanti.
There you go.
Shanti. So you guys are all going to be there.
I'm not sure if Shanti has graduated, and I think she might have moved.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on the graduation. But you guys are all going to be there with about 5,000, hopefully, people.
Oh gosh, I hope
plus.
a lot more. So we had 5,500 last year, so
Oh, jeez.
let's have double that.
Oh,
Yes. Yes.
So where does it start from?
Sorry, Civic Center.
Down to the Embarcadero and back.
No, it's just down at the Embarcadero. It ends at the Embarcadero.
Oh, it ends
Oh,
at
okay.
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
bad at
Yeah,
all.
that's great.
There's a transit station there too. So if you want to leave your car someplace away from there, you can use public transportation to get back to your car.
It does drop you right there at the Civic Center.
Yeah.
Or you can
What
use
if
a
you
line
can't make
bike.
it through the march?
What?
Noel, it's
Riding
6
through the
bucks.
march.
Well, they've done the logistics. They do have nurses on hand for
That's
medical.
right.
Yeah.
They do have nurses on hand.
Well, you
Extra oxygen.
can bring a bicycle.
It's not a jog.
Oh,
It will go slow.
No, for Noel, it's a
even a
job.
walk.
And I think you've got 2 hours to. I think it's from 10 till noon. I mean, right?
He needs a break every
So I start at 7.
The
I'll
march
be there at
itself, that
2.
portion.
What's that?
I think the march, we're allowing 2 hours for the march itself, so I think that should be
Okay.
plenty of time
Same.
for everybody,
Yeah.
stragglers
It's not
and
that
everybody.
far. I mean, we work downtown, so we know.
And
what's
there's
up.
also, it's not far at all. I
Yeah,
go
not
there,
far
go
at
down, eat
And
lunch.
there would be bands
Yeah.
and
It's
there'd be
music.
entertainment,
No hills.
music.
Got some music,
Yeah.
and Embarcadero is a beautiful spot.
Yeah.
You know, you got the. I was actually down there for a symphony, but
Oh, yeah?
it was great.
Take fishing
Anything
poles.
else you guys have for this weekend, or
Upcoming
anything coming up?
events?
I know you guys got September 8th, but what else do you guys have coming up?
What do we have coming up? Well, we're working a lot on, getting people to be aware of legislation. That this California legislative session ends the end of this month. So our public policy team, we take a look at climate, any bills in the state legislature that have a connection with climate change, and see if there's ones that we should oppose and some that we should support. So we're writing lots of articles and trying to get them out in the media. So SB 100, I think I referred to that earlier. That's the one that Governor Brown hasn't exactly thrown his full support. He's been kind of quiet about it, which is not good. So that one increases the 2030 clean energy targets from 50% to 60%, and it does some other stuff too. But anyway, it's a really good bill, and so we're pushing on these things, trying to get people educated and to get to call their elected officials and push them to their state assemblyman or state senator to support these or oppose, as the case may be.
Right.
So AB 813, we oppose that. That's to do with regionalization of the grid, and that would, if it passed, it could jeopardize what all that California is doing to get rid of dirty energy.
Yeah, that's an important one, because the state could lose control of our energy supply if we become part of the whole Western United States energy system. And a lot of that is based on coal. So that's just, asking for trouble to do that. We're doing just fine without them.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Remember, we used to have a lot of rolling blackouts. We haven't had them very often,
No,
right?
not at
Because
all.
we are only depending on our California energy.
Right.
And remember when we had that really long blackout, that 8-hour blackout?
I
That's
do.
when we were getting
Oh, yeah.
energy from Arizona because the line broke out there. So
Yeah,
now
chubby
that
guy
it's just
stepped on the wire and unplugged everything.
Yeah.
so now that it's just California, we don't really have those issues anymore. So why would we want to go back
Right.
to having energy
great
from
point.
other areas? So that to me was really important, because I when I went to the Senate, I asked them, like, well, why haven't we had rolling blackouts? Why hasn't that happened? And they're like, well, because of all of the solar energy that we're producing, we can sustain our state without needing other states. But what they were saying is we're wasting a lot of energy by having so many solar powers that we're just not using it because we're not storing them in enough batteries. And that's why they want to start supposedly getting it out more into other states, but then that's going to cause us to have rolling blackouts again, which we don't want to have again. They've started saying already, start doing laundry after 6 or start turning off your lights. I mean, we should anyways, but now that it's becoming mandated again, it's kind of like you don't want to ever get forced to have to do that, maybe just consciously doing it, but not forcefully.
Who exactly is saying that we're wasting our energy and we need to get it out of here? Or
The bigger...
Well, Governor Brown is actually,
Yeah.
he actually supports
The
this
lobbyist.
regionalization.
Yeah, he does. I don't
and,
get that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, if
It's a way of bringing in
The
income.
coal companies that want to bring in the coal and kind of take out the energy, supposedly spread it out, they're trying to say that we're producing too much energy and it's just wastefully going out. Just how it's so hot and we have the farms, but we're not using all of the energy, so they want to start spreading it into other states. So it's more of the people who produce the other kind of energy, like
So
the
they're saying
coal.
we have too much surplus. So let's do something with it, because otherwise you're not using it, it's just going to waste. So it's a way of bringing in some revenue. Say, okay, well, we've got the surplus. You're not using it. It's going to go to waste, so we're going to sell it off.
Yeah.
We'll sell it off and make
Okay, is that going to drop our taxes?
Hell no.
Exactly. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, for real.
Like, unless it benefits our
Benefits
this is how I'm
the-
seeing it. Unless it benefits the state as a whole,
Right.
it doesn't make any sense. Why would you
Yeah.
want something like
You
that?
get away from coal-generated electricity and go to
Yeah.
If it,
hydro generated or
Yeah.
wind generated or solar generated.
yeah.
Good.
Actually, one of our newer volunteers, she created two of our volunteers, one of whom is very new. She helped create an awesome video
Yeah.
on this topic. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, send me that link. I'll post
Okay.
it down with the episode.
Okay,
That's
I
for
will.
sure.
Yeah, because it's a complicated issue, and you've got people saying things like what we were just talking about. It's like, we'll take your extra solar energy and it'll all be good, but who's going to be in charge of this new energy board, and what are their interests going to be? I mean, they might want to just shut down the whole renewable energy thing because their state, a lot of their industry is coal based.
Yeah.
So
That's-
you have to be
trip.
really, study this whole issue, unfortunately, because it's really confusing.
Oh yeah. When we talk about climate change, every single time I leave here with more questions. I sit here in my room. I'm like, all right, which part would I want to focus on right now?
And the thing is that you're going up against big money
Yeah.
Yeah.
corporations. There's
Yeah.
huge money in this. It's like going up against the cattle farmers
Yeah.
up in Montana. It's the same thing. It's huge
Yeah,
money.
yeah.
And just the small organizations, the nonprofits that are trying to expose stuff and bring stuff out. It's kind of almost like they're fighting a losing battle because of the fact that he with the biggest toys wins every time.
Yeah.
But more people they could get involved and get that message out there, I think it helps. you guys.
Exactly. That's why we're trying to build a movement, get a really
exactly.
huge
Yeah.
movement.
I definitely see the uphill battle. But yeah, I mean, Angela, I want you guys to let us know where. Well, obviously it's sandiego350.org, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and there's actually a separate website for the march because there's so many, we've joined together with so many partners on that.
Okay.
So it's Rise for Climate, and 4, is it the digit 4?
Yeah.
Not the word, so Rise for
Yeah.
Climate.
Rise for Climate.
But there's if
RiseForClimate.org.
you go to sd350.org, there is a link to the march. So
Okay.
either one is good.
Okay, and then also, Angela, I see you have a document there.
Yeah, I had
if you have because last time I think on our very first podcast we posted all your recommendations. We'll definitely do that again.
Okay, great.
Any other keynotes you want to drop on before we have to set out here?
Well, there's a couple more bills that I can mention if there's time.
Oh yeah.
I think you may know that the Trump administration wanted to open up federal waters to offshore drilling.
Right.
So the California State Legislature is trying to stop that with with 2 bills, one out of the Senate, California Senate, and the other out of the Assembly, and they're both kind of like similar bills. And the idea is that these bills would essentially prohibit any infrastructure being put in that would allow that oil to be taken from the federal waters, onto land. You know what I mean? So I think it's kind of clever. So they could stymie that. They could prevent that. If this goes through, we could stop that offshore drilling. So in federal waters. So
it's funny, and I wanted to mention it earlier, but we ran out of time. Because I wanted to ask you guys about his tweet, which he had this week about the environmental laws that we have in California. But we can talk about that off air because I know that's another episode. So.
Some more controversy right there.
You're right.
Anytime Joe's brought up, it's just a long episode. We don't have time for that one.
Yeah, we want to be positive here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, there you go.
we don't have time to
Yeah.
waste on
Yeah,
certain
exactly.
Like
things.
she said.
What about you, Jess? Do you have anything else that you want to recommend or
I would recommend if anybody wants to join San Diego 350, just do it. They
Yeah.
just have to show up. Everybody's very nice and very welcoming, and just get involved. It's all you need to do. Just get involved.
I have to agree with that. Just get involved. Whatever part of your community you want it, whatever you decide, just get involved in your community. Get out there. What about you, B?
I'll just second that. It's a great group of people, and you can't. It's gotten to the point where our democracy is actually at risk, and it's up to the individual to get out and express themselves and vote.
Yep, I definitely agree with that. The democracy is definitely at risk. If you're not going to go out there and speak for yourself and help your community, you're
leaving yourself subject for whatever comes up.
You only have yourself to blame.
Exactly.
Uncle Nono, you got anything over there?
Yeah, drink more water.
Yeah.
You need to get some walking shoes, son.
Spring water, natural spring water.
Mark?
No, I'm good. I mean, you know what I do for a living, and I'm at a conflict here, and on one hand I feel it, I understand it, I get it, and I actually support it, but on this hand it's my livelihood.
Yeah.
This is how I feed my family.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same boat a little bit, as far as being an island instructor and also working for the government at the same time. It's kind of like,
there's conflict there.
There's conflict,
and it's like I want to speak on it, but it's social media and
exactly.
I got ears at work.
You know
what I mean. So maybe when I retire one day,
hey,
I know we can talk about this now. I don't know what all the secrets.
As we're sitting in the heat, it's dying.
It's really hot.
Vince T, you got anything else?
I'm good. I'm good.
Right.
I tell you what, I am gonna try and make that march.
Yay!
I'm definitely gonna try.
We have to have the Pacific Island
right after we're done, we're gonna look into our calendars and see what's going on. Bartender, you got anything else?
No.
Thanks.
Ava's tomorrow.
Oh, we do have a couple of
Ava's
events.
tomorrow.
We got a couple events here in San Diego before we get out of here.
We do.
Miss Hui pageant is tomorrow also.
Saturday.
Down in Sweetwater.
Yep.
Spring Valley.
Right in Spring Valley.
Spring Valley.
Yep.
I believe that starts at 11:30ish or something like that. But we also got Hava tomorrow and Sunday, and we'll be hanging out with them on Sunday night. That's the Tahitian party. I already took Monday off because I feel like it might need it. But other than that, my recommendation for this week is go out there and get involved in your community, regardless of what it is. It may not be 350, but if it is, awesome. But get involved in your community, meet your neighbors, talk to them, and be involved. With that being said, we're going to get out of here. Estilators. Shoot!